Hey ladies and gents, it's Wiz here with a look at a Gothitropolis figure. Gothitropolis, huh? What is that, you might ask, if you're a Mythic Legions fan? Well, Gothitropolis is a line that preceded Mythic Legions. It was a original property designed by the Four Horsemen, an original IP, and one of the most successful, or at the time, the most successful Kickstarter, action figure Kickstarter ever. And it featured the birds, specifically the Raven and a bunch of his other feathered friends. And my personal favorite, Quetzalcoatl, the Quetzalcoatl figure named Is Ramirez, that I helped the Four Horsemen come up with, and they were kind enough to name after me. But this is not about Is Ramirez. This is about Flamingus. Here we go. Or Gus for short, as I call him. There's something very unusual happening today. We're having a going away party for Flamingus because I have done something that I don't usually do, and that is engage in a trade or trade away one of my figures. I'm one of those collectors that collects and collects, doesn't really sell that much, doesn't really trade that much. But there was a member of the Mythic Legions Cabal who really wanted a Flamingo. And there aren't that many Flamingo action figures out there. He said that it was his spirit animal. He had a special connection with it. And so I said, I have a Flamingo and I'm not as attached to him as I am some of the other figures. The Gothitropolis, what's called the Raven's Wave, had a bunch of kick-ass birds, a bunch of raptors, eagles, hawks, phoenix. My personal favorite, Quetzalcoatl, was a little unusual, but this guy, Flamingus, came out of left field because, number one, he's pink, so he didn't look like the rest of the macho birds in the lineup. Number two, he's a flamingo and not what someone would normally think of as a bird that would wear armor and battle others with weapons, specifically because he has that large exposed neck. So, but if anything, it's just an example of the Four Horsemen thinking out of the box and giving us something that we never knew we wanted until we got it. But Flamingus has never been my favorite of the birds, but now that I'm breaking up the collection and I'm letting him go, I'm putting him in a box and I'm sending him out to this collector who has a special place in his heart for flamingos. I figured I'd do a review of him because for a long time I've been thinking, well, maybe I should go back and take a look at Gothitropolis, take a look at those birds, take a look at maybe some of the Scarabus figures in my collection, take a look at all those things. Since I don't have doubles of this guy, I knew that once he was out of my hands, I wouldn't be able to get him again because he's very, very expensive. I think he's on eBay right now for $522 or some ridiculous price like that. That was the other reason I wanted to help out the fellow Cabal member with that trade, because I knew, they just don't come up that often on eBay, and when they do, they go for ridiculous prices. This is like, I don't remember how much I paid for him. It's probably in the $25 range, maybe even the $20 range. But an example of Four Horsemen IP just going through the roof a number of years later, because the people who didn't pick it up on Kickstarter find out about it online or whatever, and there are just not that many people who are willing to sell unless it's for, at times, somewhat exorbitant prices. So, if I'm ever going to review Flamingus, it's going to be now, because he's going to be on his way in a box to a collector who I'm sure will give him a great home. And the cool thing is I actually traded Flamingus for something that I've been wanting, but I thought was a little bit ridiculously expensive. And that was the gray wolf from D10. So we did a straight up trade, Flamingus for that wolf. And let me show you, okay, this what little Flamingus gets me. Box just came in from Amazon. Huge, heavy box. Can't get it all in the frame, but that's my gray wolf. And I think it was $169 at the time, but the same day that got here, the gray wolf went down in price to $129 on BBTS. So, see, I want the gray wolf in my collection. I'm not sad that I made the trade, but I wouldn't have purchased it for $129. I think that I will purchase him for $129, and I would purchase him for that price. But I thought $169 and $189, which is what they were going for before, was too much. Just shows how, these third-party figures will vary in price and will go down in price. First, I think it was, I've seen it at $189, I've seen it at $169, and now that one-day sale at BBTS for $129. But, yeah, I got my gray wolf. He gets his Flamingus. Everybody's happy. But he's a beautiful figure. Take a look at all the detail. It's a shared buck with the other birds, but nobody sculpts the kind of details in the feathers like Eric Treadaway. Now, he did have a pink set of wings that you could pop in the back here. Not these little tiny vestigial wings, but like there's a hole in there. These pop out. I'm not going to do it now since it's somebody else's figure. But these pop out and you can pop in a full set of flamingo wings. But I never displayed him with the wings because I thought some of these figures looked better without wings. And this was one. And especially since the wings were kind of raptor type wings, I went for the verisimilitude on that. He's got just chock full of details. You see every single feather is sculpted on his legs, on his arms, head to toe. I think Eric Treadaway must have had nightmares about sculpting feathers while he was doing this, but he just did amazing work as awesome as always. You have a belt with lots of relics attached to it. You've got this horn. You've got this sort of magical hand. Some bones in the front. I don't know what this green thing is. Some mysterious package. And then this little like amulet or something. So all of the birds have those just amazingly painted. Look at the wash on that package and look at the tiny detail and how well the rope is painted on there. Same with the bones. They've all got great paint jobs and amazing detail work on them. So next level stuff here from the Four Horsemen. The articulation is pretty good. You've got the chest there. I love this iridescent paint here, this blue that really pops with the pink. And then, I'm not going to like move him around too much, but he's got good leg articulation. He's got those rear facing knees that birds have. And he has something that most of the other bird figures don't have. He has kind of the duck feet. So it's another thing that makes him unique. And then, of course, that classic, beautiful flamingo head and all the details that you need there. The little beady little eyeballs and the big scoop nose. For such a elegant bird, my understanding is that they basically shovel around in the mud and eat snails. But I'm sure that somebody who's an avian expert would know more about that. But, they've got all this beautiful, delicate styling. So, of course, they would go for something fancy like escargot. So anyway, that is a look at Flamingus. There was, Four Horsemen usually put out a comic relief character in every wave. I guess the one in the Gothitropolis bird wave was Minotaur the Duck, another web-footed bird. But I always kind of felt like Flamingus was sort of a soul brother to the pink elephant that I've got back there. The Chalice of Good Enough, which is the Four Horsemen always like to throw you a curve and give you something that you aren't expecting. All right, well, I worked pretty hard putting together this display here, color coordinating it. So I'll let you have a look at that as we go out and say goodbye to Flamingus. I hope he enjoys his new home. There we have the Chalice of Good Enough. You've got Genie from I Dream of Genie. And you've got Chinese Barbie. That's my wife. That's my wife's. I bought it for her. And then back there you have some outer spacemen designed by Mel Burnkrant that are pink. Heavily cribbed from the Metaluna mutant. And then this chartreuse fellow. Maybe he's Mauve or Puce. I have this modified Glyos figure that Matt Dowdy gave me a long time ago, and I put a pink boxing glove and a different hand on it, and then, Aqua Team, Hunger Force. And all right, well, I hope you enjoyed that. It's a little bit different. I usually just review things that have just recently come out, and this came out years ago. But like I said, if I do decide to do more of these reviews, if you guys decide you like them, and I go back in my collection and I show things that I've collected before this channel was even around, then I'm going to want to have this one in the can before he flies the coop, so to speak. All right, that's it for Flamingus from the Gothitropolis bird line, the Kickstarter that started this crazy run that ended up in with Mythic Legions being such a success. Is the Wiz signing out.